Hello students, today we are going to start your chapter 2nd of Beehive, the sound of music. This chapter has two parts. First part, Evelyn Glennie listened to the sound without hearing it, written by Deborah Corley. And second part is The Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. Now, in this video, we will cover both these parts. First part, now I am going to start your first part. Evelyn Glennie listens to sound without hearing it. Summary of this chapter is, Evelyn Glennie is a multi-percussionist. Percussionist means the person who can play music. And multi-percussionist means she was expert in playing many things like drums, violin and many other things, guitar and like all. She can play about 1000 instruments with perfection. She was an expert in playing instruments. She listened to sound without hearing it. She cannot hear, but still she can listen sound. How one can listen sound without hearing it? Only with the sensation of its body, the vibrations of its body. She fought against a physical disability and became a source of inspiration for thousands of disabled persons. Being a physically disabled, she gathered all her courage and started playing musical instruments and became a role model for thousands of people. She was profoundly deaf. That means she was not deaf by her birth. She became deaf when she got a high fever. Actually, her brain fever left her profoundly deaf. She was 11 years old when it was discovered that she had hearing disability. When she was 11 years old, she was found with hearing disability. She wanted to pursue her career in music, but her teachers discouraged her. It was Ron Forbes who recognized her potential and supported her in achieving her goal. Only Ron Forbes guided her as well as taught her how to play the music, how to play the instruments in which she was having keen interest. He advised her not to listen music through her ears, but try to sense it in some other way. Ron Forbes taught her not to listen music from her ears, but try to sense it. Soon she was excited. She felt vibrations of the higher drum from the waist up. She was trying to feel vibrations of drums. When the higher drums were struck, making noise, she felt the vibration of higher drums through waist up, upper portion of her waist, and the lower drum from the waist down. She connected the higher drum with her waist upper portion, and she connected the lower drum from her waist down portion. That means from her waist upper portion was getting vibrations from her higher drum, and from her waist lower portion it was getting vibrations from the lower drums. Later, she realized that she could feel the vibrations in every part of her body. Now she was having that much of capability that she could feel the vibrations in each and every part of her body. These tingled in her skin, her cheekbones, and even in her hairs. She felt vibrations in her hairs. She had learned to open her body and mind to the sounds and vibrations. She had opened her mind as well as body for sounds and vibrations. After that, she never looked back. After that, she never returned back and lost her hope. She was very determined and courageous too. She joined the prestigious Royal Academy of Music and scored one of the highest marks in the history of academy. Till now, nobody has scored that much of marks which Evelyn Glennie scored. She worked hard with strong determination. She was determined enough to achieve her goal. She wanted to be at the top. In 1991, she was presented with Royal Philharmonic Society's prestigious Soloist of the Year award. She was given this award for the best music player. Apart from the regular concerts, Evelyn gives free concerts in prisons and hospitals too. She is a shining inspiration for the deaf children. She has accomplished more than most people twice her age had. She has earned name in orchestra. She has inspired those who are handicapped and made them believe that if Evelyn could do that, why could not they? They could also achieve the same thing just as Evelyn's determination has got her. Now, first part of this chapter has been completed. Now we are going to start chapter's second part. Now this chapter is the Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. Summary of this chapter. This chapter throws light on the origin of Shehnai. How does Shehnai originated? You might be knowing about the Shehnai. You might have heard Bismillah Khan somewhere playing Shehnai. The life of Shehnai Maestro Bismillah Khan. Bismillah Khan is the greatest player of Shehnai today. He has received Bharat Ratna, the highest civilian award. We can learn from this chapter how Shehnai originated and how it was given name. We also learn about Bismillah Khan's childhood, his dedication to music and his love for India in general, for Banaras in particular, especially Banaras, which we call Varanasi and Kashi. A musical instrument called pungi. A musical instrument called pungi was banned by Emperor Aurangzeb for its shrill, unpleasant sound. Pungi's voice was very harsh. Nobody could be able to hear this unpleasant sound. It was perfected by a barber. Emperor Aurangzeb has a barber in his palace. That barber perfected that pungi. Belonged to a family of professional musicians, he played it in the chamber of kings. And after that, he played that modified pungi in the chamber of kings. Its sound was appreciated by the emperor. Emperor appreciated that modified pungi's sound. Since it was born in Shah's chamber and perfected by a Nai, it was named as Shehnai. Shehnai, Sheh and Nai. It's the tuning of two words. Just because it was born in the Shah's chamber. Shah's chamber and a nai, nai means barber, a nai made this properly, so it was named as Shehnai. In the beginning, it was played in the temples before the images of gods and goddesses. It was played on every auspicious domestic occasions too, just like marriage and all other. Gradually, it became popular. Ustad Bismillah Khan belonged to the Banaras Gharana. He was born in 1961 at Dumraon in Bihar. Dumraon is a small village in Bihar. As 5-year-old boy, he played gilli danda near a pond. He used to visit Bihariji temple. He often visited Bihariji temple and sing Bhojpuri Chaita. He would earn a big laddu from local Maharaja as a prize. Just because he sing Bhojpuri Chaita very well and play this Shehnai also, he got a prize, a big laddu. At the age of 6, he moved to Banaras. His uncle Ali Baks introduced him to the nuisance of playing Shehnai. He was deeply devoted to music. He used to spend most of his time practicing on the bank of river Ganga. The themes of his music are deeply affected by the flowing water of the Ganga. He got the Best Performance Award at All India Music Conference in Allahabad in 1930. In 1937, he bagged 3 medals of music conference in Kolkata. He was invited by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, to play the Shehnai from the ramparts of Delhi's Red Fort in 1947, just because he was the first Shehnai player who got honor to play Shehnai from Red Fort in New India after its freedom. He won many international awards as well. Bismillah Khan is very fond of Banaras and Dumraon. Banaras was his Shehnai's birthplace and Dumraon was his own birthplace. He declined an offer from one of his students to settle in the United States. When one of his students asked him to settle down in United States, but he refused that proposal and started living in Banaras. He ventured into the celluloid world. He gave his music in 2 movies. He also entered in the celluloid world. Celluloid world means Bollywood. And he gave music in 2 movies. 2 movies were Goonj Uthi Shehnai but the artificial world of cinema would not attract him, and that artificial world did not attracted him much. For him, music is God. For Bismillah Khan, music was God. Music is his soul, and that music was in his soul. Two movies he has done, Goonj Uthi Shehnai and Sanadi Apanna. But he was not satisfied with his own work, so he left the celluloid world and loved music on his own way. Okay, now this is all about your chapter. Question answers of both these parts will be given to you afterwards. Thank you.